Welcome back, everyone. It's here. And today I've got some r/best of for you all. As per usual, I'll be reading you the posts, giving you my opinions, and I hope you do the same down in the comments below. And without further ado, let's jump right into it. This post was collected by Glumcraft4652. The original OP is Kazimirix, posted to r/trueoffmychest, June 1st, 2023. I don't think my boss knows that I know there's a camera in my office. I don't know where to start because I'm not even sure if this is weird or not. I started at this new job not long ago, and since the first day, I've known there was a camera in my office. I don't think it's necessarily weird to have cameras in an office building. There's cameras in all sorts of places for all kinds of reasons. But the camera in my office isn't any sort of built-in fixture, and my individual office room is the only office with a camera in it. On my first day of the job, I realized my boss was too aware of my actions. He said something to me and threw me off, and I knew he wouldn't have brought it up unless he had been watching me do something. It was just too coincidental, but it was casual at the same time, so it wasn't a direct allusion to the camera he has. But immediately after that incident, I scanned around the room, and I found a camera nestled into a cubby with a small wire that leads into his adjacent office. My other boss has also indirectly responded to my actions in the group chat. The few times I had spent an excessive amount of time on my phone were times at the, "Hey guys, let me know if you guys need anything to work on. I know things are slow," messages would trickle in. Anything that seemed to hint at me being watched was also said or done ambiguously enough that they weren't revealing anything about being able to see me, as if I'm not supposed to know I'm being watched. And that's what's unsettling to me. The camera is pointed directly at me, not the door, not the front of my desk, not anywhere else that would make sense for security. I've looked at everyone else's offices and didn't see a single camera. The camera is pointed specifically at me. And I don't even deal with money or anything that could be stolen. I don't know if I should bring this up. I'm not entirely mad, and I guess I understand the reasoning. Like making sure I'm on task or some shit. It just bothers me a little that I can be watched whenever, and they never even disclosed that. I feel like someone being constantly monitored has the right to know that they are, especially since I'm the only one being watched like this. I at least use it to my advantage because I at least know not to be on my phone, lol. /relevant comments. User, Samantha, please, K, thanks, comments. Anytime you're finished with a task and waiting for another one, spend excessive amounts of time staring into the camera. Deleted user comments. Yes, and don't blink at all, just stare vacantly directly into the camera. Deleted user. Is this your office? Place a nice plant/object in the way of the camera to decorate. If the decoration is moved, ask why. Another deleted user comments, secretly filming people is illegal in a lot of countries. User Banana Mac, talk to a lawyer. Only they can really represent your interests, not HR or your shady boss. User Psychedelic Savannah comments, not to be weird, OP, but I did look at your post history because I needed more context on your age and gender, as I think it does matter in this situation. Seeing that you're a 22 female confirmed my suspicions that your boss may be a creep. You mentioned at least one of your bosses is male, which makes me wonder what his intentions are. I'm also not sure how deep of a search you did of your office, but I would implore you to look under your desk, chair, and anywhere in the surrounding area where you typically sit. Nowadays, cameras are easily available online that can be as small as a button, or be disguised as something benign like a smoke detector. It is possible you're the only one being spied on, but it is also possible that your employer has hidden cameras elsewhere in your workplace, such as bathrooms or break rooms. You also did not mention what state you are from, but I'm pretty sure any lawyer in any state could make a case for a young woman that was being filmed without her consent by her male employers. No matter which way you spin it, it looks very bad on their end, and I can't really think of any non-nefarious reason why they would need to record you. I know you're not asking for advice, but I would confront them directly, or gather evidence to turn to the police and quit. No job is worth your privacy. User OKEffect6705 comments, "Why are they so passive-aggressive? How much time do they waste jerking off to whatever you're doing? This type of stuff is usually someone just stroking their ego, flexing their power. Weirdos." Update within the first post. I wasn't expecting so many responses. I genuinely appreciate how concerned everyone is about whether or not I'm okay. It makes me feel good knowing a lot of people care about a stranger's well-being. I've seen a lot of comments asking for an update, so this is really the most I have of one. Nothing has changed yet. I haven't brought it up to them because part of me is wondering if they'll eventually remove it. I was curious to see if they would ever bring it up themselves, or if I could find a way to hint at the fact that I know. I sorta want them to stay unaware that I know, so I can see how they act in response to my actions, to potentially call it out in the future. The top comment is pretty funny about staring into the camera. There were a few times where something ridiculous would happen with something, and I'd stare into the camera for a moment as if I was breaking the fourth wall. Lamau. I don't think I'm going to bring it up just yet. I actually like working here. I get along with my coworkers, and they pay me decently for what I do. For everyone asking, yes, I am a woman. I don't think this is as much of a sexual harassment case as it is just a micromanaging thing. They haven't done or said anything to make me feel like they were hitting on me. Just genuine politeness. My guess for the camera is that they're maybe testing my integrity and seeing how much time I spend on my phone, even at a view of other people. Which I could understand, but wow, I wish there was another way besides a camera on me. There's been a few other micromanaging things to happen that have irked me a little, but I still like my bosses in spite of that. If something changes, like if I start getting the vibe that this is becoming creepy, I'll keep you guys updated. Oh, and also, a few things I wanted to mention that a lot of people had ideas about. You guys had good ideas, by the way. Due to where it's at, it would be really hard to cover the camera with anything. I can't exactly reach it, so I'd have to find something, like maybe a wide shelf that would block view from underneath it. The wire runs into my boss's office. You can't see the wire from mine, so I'd have to take a pic of it from inside his office. So I don't know if I'm able to evidence collect too easily. I'm also trying to be a bit vague with details because I got a little paranoid about the idea of my boss somehow coming across this thread. Anyways, I appreciate you guys, and I'm sorry I don't have a more thrilling update. I'll let you know if anything changes. Final update, 25 days later. There's no HR, but the camera was removed thanks to IT. So, as previously stated, I still never said anything about the camera. I wasn't really comfortable with it, but I got used to being conscious of my actions so they weren't seeing anything I didn't want them to. There also isn't some sort of HR to talk to about this or anything like that. But our IT guy came in, and he asked my boss about it. I wasn't in the room, so I didn't hear the entire conversation. But the first thing I heard was my boss saying that the camera was there before my office ever was. Something about using it to see the front door originally, I guess. That was a weird excuse to me though, because I've been there for at least 2 months at this point, and there's no way they could have accidentally watched me as much as it felt like they had been. Hearing the conversation out loud also confirmed beyond a shadow of a doubt that it was a camera, and that I wasn't paranoid. The IT guy must have felt some type of way about it, because I didn't hear what he said, but I heard my boss say something about, well, it's not like I was just watching her in her office, in sorta a quieter, sheepishly defensive way. Nobody said anything to me while they were removing it. They took it from his side, not mine. But they instead put it where it would be facing the front door. This happened just over a week ago. I haven't posted an update until now because I was waiting to see if the camera would be put back. I really wanted to see if they were gonna put it back a few days after IT left, because that would have been wild. But it's been over a week now. The camera is still away from me. I'll take some time before I stop feeling like I'm being watched all the time though. I'm really curious what the guy said to my boss, whether he said something about it not being allowed or if he called it flat out creepy. Haha. But I'm glad he did say something, as it got resolved without me ever having to say anything. I'd like to think he low-key had my back. I've still just been acting as if I've never known and haven't said anything about it, and work carries on. Also, it's so wild that this story got put in a Smosh video. Holy shit. I heard the news back to back. First hey, Smosh bought their channel back. At the same time as, hey, your post is in a new Smosh video. I made this post mostly to vent because I couldn't tell if I had the right to feel so weird about this situation because everyone in my personal circle says it isn't that weird. So it's so nice that so many strangers are validating how I feel. To hear people talk about my experience on a public platform was a little surreal, I won't lie. This got so much more traction than I was ever expecting. But it makes me feel better. So thank you. Genuinely. My experience feels validated, and it feels heard, and I feel better because of it. I'm still going to stay at this job, because I still like everyone here, and I enjoy my field. But now, I'll be doing it under a little less surveillance, lol. If the camera comes back, I'll let you know. Top relevant comments. You/modster. I just found this post and a similar thing happened to me. My boss was definitely sexually harassing me though, watching only me on a camera in my office. Having people watch it and report back to him if he was out of the office, and the guy would come up behind me at my desk just to smell my hair. When I knew I had a new job secured, I took a picture of the area the camera was in on one of my last days, and my office mate, who would watch me when he couldn't, was an absolute nervous wreck that day. I still think about writing a letter to HR about that creep. I'm sure he's going to do it to other women given the chance. Too bad he's friends with HR. OP responds, Jesus Christ, that's awful, dude. I'm so sorry you got harassed. I'm really lucky my situation wasn't as bad. I'm glad you don't work there anymore. I hope karma catches up to that sleazy dude. User Katanen76 comments, OP, I am so glad the IT guy called it out and moved it. That said, I am very concerned that people in your personal circle thought this wasn't that weird. It's weird and super creepy. If there was cameras monitoring the entire office, that's one thing. But this one was specifically towards you. I want to reassure you that that is not normal at all, and you had every right to feel creeped out. User Believe33 comments, the real question is if the camera was used to see the front door, why was it connected to his PC? Wouldn't you want something like that connected to a separate PC to record and back up the footage for security purposes? Also, are there security cameras inside or outside this business? If so, then that's super suspicious. Opie responds, the idea behind having the camera facing the door is that they know whether the people walking in are clients or just the mailman / another coworker. It's to avoid having to get up out of the office to check who's in the front, because there's no front desk technically. The weird thing to me though, is that his office is actually the only office that you can see the front door from. So it doesn't make any sense for him to have one facing it. The IT guy probably told the boss that the camera could result in one hell of a lawsuit, with the fact that the only camera that's looking over an employee also just happens to be their new female hire. That's a recipe for disaster. Like even biggest benefit of the doubt possible. The camera was a leftover, it wasn't supposed to be there, and occasionally they would just check it because, hey, camera's there, we have a new hire, may as well just make sure the new hire's on task. Biggest benefit of the doubt possible that it was that scenario. Still is not good, still doesn't look good. Part of me wonders if it's like a mix between, the scenario that I just listed as well as the fact of, well, camera's already there, may as well just keep an eye on her. For professional reasons, of course. Honestly though, who knows, and we'll probably never have a concrete answer. I'm happy OP's able to work in their office without worrying about a camera constantly watching them. And I'm happy that IT was able to step up and be like, yo, we really should not be doing this. This is going to be a problem. And the camera was then promptly taken down. I'd also be very curious to find out what region of the world they're in. If they're in the States, what state they're in. Because privacy laws when it comes to a camera and expected privacy varies vastly from state to state, let alone from country to country. Basically, I want to know of how bad of a fuck up it was when the IT guy informed the boss of what they were doing. This post was collected by Glumcraft4652. Originally posted to r/advice. The original OP is Getting Me Fired, September 20th, 2020. I think my girlfriend has been trying to get me fired from all my jobs. I'm shaken. Please help me. I'm male 24, and I've been with girlfriend, female 29, let's call her Janice, for 2.5 years. I just finished my education when we started dating, and I've been doing all sorts of jobs since. Sometimes 2 at a time. I did this to expand my resume and gather job experience. I worked in cafes, bookstores, a library, a grocery store, and as an English tutor. Most of those jobs lasted about 3 to 5 months. My shortest stay was 2.5 weeks. My longest, 8 months. But since I didn't have a hard time applying for new positions, I tried to block it out. Though it was kind of eating me up internally. People called to complain about me. People left bad reviews about me. People used my employee Wi-Fi access to look up sketchy things on the internet under my name. Former employees called to inform them about me. Right name and all. And much more subtle stuff that I couldn't disprove. But I was too anxious to do anything about it. I just told my girlfriend. She comforted me. She supported me every time I got my life ruined by these people. But I kept going. Though, they kept finding me. Fast forward to this week. I currently hold a part-time position at a bakery. I've been working there for 2.5 months. It's going okay. But my manager approached me about something regarding our Google reviews. Someone was complaining about an employee, and their description of them could only really fit me. It was on a day where we're pretty short of staff, so I could have been the only person in the store on that day for all I know. Anyway, their review contains some pretty elaborate and nasty comments about me. This has happened on 1 or 2 of my jobs already. I told my manager that it was all pretty bogus and that someone had a vendetta against me, as it has happened before. She believed me and told me that she'll dismiss the comment. On my break, I checked out the review myself. Their username was kinda stupid. I'm not gonna type it out here since I still work there, but I'll just call them McMyrtle, as it was in the same range of sounds kinda fake but not really. Anyway, I come home, but don't tell Janice about it. She's heard it all before, so I don't see the point in complaining about another time I almost lost my position. We chat, all is well, and she leaves the room. Her phone is on the table, and suddenly, she gets a notification or an email of some sort from Google. I don't remember what it said exactly, but the pop-up read something along the lines of, "McMyrtle, manager has responded to your review." My heart dropped. I've been trying to ignore it since. This was 2 days ago. It just fit in the picture of bad reviews. It fit in the picture of the phone complaints my workplace have received about me in the past. It fits in the picture of all the sketchy things I've been fired for. Why would she do that though? I'm looking for an explanation. This literally can't be. She's the only thing keeping me sane. I don't know what to do. Top/relevant comments. Deleted user. Please, for the love of God, do not stay with that woman. She is sick. Who the hell does that to someone they love? User Gaia's Doter comments. Someone insecure and twisted enough to try to destroy their partner's self-esteem to make the partner dependent on them. User TX Lexi comments. This is extreme manipulation and abuse. I feel sick to my stomach thinking about you having gone through this for years, losing job after job and being devastated and confused. The worst is you confiding in her and her knowing exactly what she did to you. I really don't understand how anyone can do this to someone they love. Please, OP, for your sake, you need to leave this relationship. User Liz1065. Sounds kind of like she's trying to force things toward him needing her, possibly even being dependent. Deleted user comments. Does your girlfriend earn more money than you? This is intense and you need to get out. This is abuse and you'll never get anywhere with her doing this. but I do suggest you talk to her. Ask her straight out, but be prepared for the worst. Opie responds, she has a very stable position and a pretty good job, so yes, she does earn more money than me. User Yaz's House for Tea comments, I'm so glad your manager believes you. Hopefully this is a time where you can find some stability and start over. I'm so sorry your partner has been sabotaging your employment in this way. Maybe it's to keep you reliant on her so she can always play the role of the reliable and comforting savior partner. Maybe she gets off on the control. Does she hurt you in other ways? Are there any other areas of your life she's interfering with? Are your bank accounts safe and secure? Please look up resources for leaving an abusive partner safely. This is an absolutely awful thing to happen. I'm so sorry. This is not love. You didn't deserve to be treated this way. Wishing you all the best for the future. OP responds, if she's really the one messing with me, she must have my login details to my email, since she would have gotten the employee Wi-Fi access that way. So I'm certain she has access to a lot more than I might be thinking of in the moment. Probably all my social media. I don't know if she can read my messages there or not. This Reddit account is luckily not connected to any email, so I hope she won't find this. I don't know how much she knows and doesn't know about my life. I'm scared and I feel disgusted. Update 1, 22 days later. Hello people who are still invested. I'm sorry for not updating you guys earlier. A lot has been going on. First of all, yes, we broke up. That's why I'll be referring to her as my ex from now on. Anyway, let's start from the beginning. On the Monday of the following week, I couldn't take the uncertainty anymore. I told my ex I needed her booking account to book a train ticket to visit my dad for a few days. She complied, and when she was in the shower getting ready for work, I booked my ticket and started looking through her emails. After some digging, I found an email to herself which contained a spreadsheet file. I sent the file to myself, printed it out, and took a screenshot. Why? The spreadsheet contained about every single information about me that there was. Numbers, emails, passwords, work times, colleagues, their numbers and social medias, as well as some emails and passwords that she used for accounts to ruin my life with. Everything was on there, conveniently sorted for her to ruin my life as efficiently as possible. When she left for work, I decided it would be best to immediately pack my stuff. Nothing that mattered would be left behind. I felt like a wanted man, like I was being hunted despite nothing being seemingly out of place. I called my boss, told her I would be taking some time off work, and headed out to see my dad. Needless to say, he was the sanity I needed. I cried about everything I saw. I panicked for a whole 2 days straight about how my life was ruined, and I didn't know what to do. He had to sleep on the couch in the guest room because I was so scared of my ex coming in. He handled it like a champ. I love you, Dad. He called the police, a lawyer, and most recently, a therapist for me, because I was in the most horrible state of my entire life. We're currently sorting out the legal stuff. I haven't talked to my ex, except for letting her know it was over, and that she's a sick psychopath. My dad handled the rest. I changed all my passwords, and now I'm looking for a place to live. Sorry for the brief update, my mind is tangled. Please ask questions if you want to know more. Edit, by the way, thank you to every single person who gave me advice, talked to me over DMs, and was generally concerned about me. I appreciate every single one of you. Top and relevant comments. User Nothing to Say comments. Bro, that's so nuts. Why are people so goddamn twisted? I'm just glad you're safe. Thank God for good family. Now you can pursue the success you are entitled to through your hard work. Curious, did Miss Psycho have any sort of excuse or explanation for her diabolical behavior? OP responded. She did, but I have yet to check the abundance of messages she left for me. I don't know if I ever will. User Nothing to Say replies further. That's totally understandable. I imagine it's a bunch of delusional self-serving horseshit. She needs help, like professional help. Final update. 2 years later. Went back on here and saw a bunch of DMs, and some of y'all came here quite recently. I've answered all the DMs so far, and before I let the next batch of people wait, you'd think there wouldn't be after 2 years, I'll give you a quick update. Spoiler, it isn't that interesting. Too long didn't read, we ended up not taking her to court over it. This is quite controversial considering the abhorrent things she's done to me, but I do not regret this decision. The satisfaction of seeing her get punished would have been overshadowed by the sheer amount of dread, anxiety, and fear I would have faced in those court hearings. I was a nervous mess. I couldn't eat for weeks without throwing up. My dad had to settle most of the important stuff because I physically couldn't. So thank you, Dad. On the bright side, our lawyers settled the situation beautifully in private, and I haven't had any problems with her since. That I'm aware of. I've moved houses, got a stable job, and found the closure and justice I was looking for through therapy. I hope she did as well. We've had zero contact since then, and I still haven't read any of the messages she sent me those years ago. Of course, I'm nowhere near done with my journey. I still have all of my social media accounts set to private and insist on keeping a low profile online. I still get anxiety, especially when there's problems at work, but I haven't had any panic attacks in months, and my therapist has been great. I don't know how she's doing. I don't know if she's moved on, or if she's seen this story float around the web. Hello, YouTube, TikTok, and Snapchat. I don't know how much she knows about how my life is currently going, but nothing's happening since then that I could attribute to her schemes. Sorry if this update is kind of a jumbled mess. I just woke up and I've repressed a lot of what happened. Thank you all for your kind messages. Cheers. Top and relevant comments. Deleted user. But how did she react when you broke up with her? I need to know, LOL. OP responds, no clue. It was over text. Haven't opened our DMs since. User Lady Blade War Angel comments, the only thing I can say to you, OP, is I hope you've never given reason to regret not proceeding with criminal prosecution against your ex. Also, that you are a much better person than me. I'm not sure I could let it go, but I'm a person that believes in vengeance. I do, however, have great respect for those who find it in them to let things go, whether they forgive or not. It takes more strength to let something go than to pursue vengeance. What she did was utterly monstrous and horrific, and I can only hope you'll continue to recover, and that you get the life you deserve and want. Sending hugs and best wishes from an internet stranger. And now, a general PSA from Milad Yele. I think that's how their username is pronounced. Pro tips, if all your shit is compromised, email first. Why? Every other account password reset will go to your email. Log out and disconnect all devices. This is in account settings. Log out all sessions, remove all approved devices. Check recovery email and phone. Remove any that aren't yours. Make sure you have your phone on there. Now, change password. Don't play around, make it difficult. Symbol, number, words, symbols, numbers as a general template. Don't use obvious things like date of birth, pets, kids' names, shit that is basic trivia about you. That OP should never use anything resembling the passwords she had on that spreadsheet ever again. Set up two-factor. Set up notifications of new logins too. Check email rules, especially for forwarding messages. Next, secure your phone. New PIN code lock. Change your Apple ID password, same steps as for email. Check for sync devices, and either remove them or turn off syncing if you need some time. Next, bank login, PayPal, whatever other digital payment methods you have. My bank can print out new debit cards on the spot. Doubt they're the only one. Then, shopping sites like Amazon, etc. Once all the core and monetary shit is covered, then do social media, etc. Always check for approved devices, login sessions, and recovery emails/phones. Do not do any of this on a shared computer. That means any device anyone other than you uses. And as a final note, from user These Are My Words, don't forget to freeze your credit with the 3 major credit bureaus. The level that OP's accounts were compromised at is honestly just all the more reason to go through these extreme steps here. Hell, even if you don't believe your accounts have been compromised, it still may not be a bad idea just to double check some of these things to see if maybe something snuck through the cracks that you're not aware of. And definitely enable two-factor authentication, without a doubt. I also don't blame OP for pursuing legal. My guess would be is they probably understood by the end of it how much it would cost to pursue this and decided to step away from it. and I get that, because it can get expensive really goddamn fast. And as a final note, I know this isn't the satisfying, ribbon-wrapped drama present at the end where we get to know exactly what happened, but I can commend OP for sending that message, putting the brakes on everything, and never looking back. Honestly, that was probably the best thing for their mental health that they could have done, and good on them for that. Don't forget, this is brought to you by GamerSupps. Use code ODDS at checkout. It's basically a caffeine powder that you put in your water, and I actually really like it. I use this on a daily basis. Don't forget that every purchase you make using code ODDS directly supports the channel. And if you want a personal recommendation from me, I would either recommend the Soda Pressing Pear or Dragon Fruit Punch. Those two are currently my favorite flavors. And as a note, once we sell a certain amount of stuff, I get my own flavor and my own cup, and you all know I'm gonna choose some degenerate shit that's gonna make their PR team squirm. My goal is to make them regret partnering with me. So please, use code ODDS at checkout to make my dream come true of making a PR team squirm.